I'm Mary Lee Anderson. I'm Executive Director of Senior Services of Alexandria. We're a local nonprofit here in the city, and we support older adults, anybody 60 and older who lives in Alexandria and needs assistance so that they can stay in their residence safely and with healthy support. We deliver Meals on Wheels, we do home grocery delivery. We have a wonderful Senior Ambassador program, which allows us to inform the community about all that Alexandria has to offer older adults. Senior Services of Alexandria is a small nonprofit, and we do a lot of great work in the community, and we really were looking for a bank that would provide us with personal support, that would be responsive to our needs. And a local bank is the way we wanted to go. We wanted to make sure that if we had a question about our account, that we could call up an individual and we would get an answer right away. We opened our account with former mayor and our former board chair, eventually, Carrie Donnelly, brought us to John Marshall Bank, and he was the example of a wonderful community leader, and talk about responsive, really set the bar very high, and everyone that's come after Carrie has followed the same example. If I have a question or need any particular type of support, I know I can call my rep there and I'll hear back immediately. I think a great example of how responsive John Marshall Bank has been was when the PPP loans were coming out from the federal government. And I went out to 4 different banks in the city, and all on the same day, indicating that we plan to apply for a PPP loan and what could they do to help us through the process. And the first one I heard back from was John Marshall Bank, and they ushered us through the process. It was really as painless as it could be. They made sure that we knew everything that we needed to do to report properly to the federal government. We got the money very promptly. We were really thrilled to be able to keep opening and operating, because when you deliver Meals on Wheels and groceries to seniors, that didn't stop during the pandemic, and we needed to make sure that we had the financial support to make that all possible. And John Marshall Bank really did usher us through it. John Marshall Bank, most recently, we received a wonderful bequest from a senior who passed away in Alexandria. And it was a fairly sizable sum for an organization of our size. And we were a little bit concerned about putting all of that money with a single institution. And so we went to several different banks in the area and asked for their recommendations as to how we could invest it and to make sure that it was protected against any problems that might come down the road. And John Marshall Bank was the one that came up with a really innovative solution of a way that we could invest that money in the near term so that we were getting the best return possible and do the best for our organization to make sure that we had income coming and that the money was protected. I would definitely recommend John Marshall Bank to anybody who wants to have that personal level of support, to know that you can make a phone call or just walk down Washington Street and go into the bank, and you'll be known, they'll be responsive and be ready to help you with whatever you need to look after your financial investments and continue your business without worrying about whether or not your bank is there to support you. We're very, very happy with John Marshall Bank.